Yo, what up? It's RK Futures, and we're talking about Doom 2016 versus Doom Eternal, right? I want to talk about not just about which game is better, because I think I'll do that in a future video to kind of compare directly both games, but I want to talk about more specifically which game is more difficult, right? So if that's something you might be interested in and want to hear more, definitely drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know if you disagree or agree in the comments, right? So that's what I want to know. I kind of just want to open up the conversation with my viewers, and I want to kind of know like which game for you was more difficult. Now, first, I want to preface this by saying that like it's all going to matter based on your opinion, right? Based on your play style, based on, your opinion, right? So I don't want you to take all this as fact, but I do think I have some very compelling reasons on why Doom 2016 is more difficult than Doom Eternal. I'm currently on the playthrough of Doom 2016 on Nightmare difficulty. I've already beaten Doom Eternal on Nightmare difficulty, and I'm going to talk about why I think Doom 2016 is the more difficult game. Now, I don't have direct comparisons in this game, like as far as visually is concerned, but I do have some very good arguments, I think, for why Doom 2016 is the more difficult game. Now, first, I want to preface this by saying first, people think that because Doom Eternal has more buttons, you have more things to push, and you have more things to manage, generally speaking, that makes the game more difficult. And perhaps for many people, that is more difficult, right? Like more things to manage means more difficult of a game, more buttons to press, more faster gameplay, more options means more difficult. But I think once you've put in the work and you've beaten the game on the hardest difficulty, and you've played the horde mode on the hardest difficulty, and you get the movement down, it's not as challenging and as daunting as I feel like Doom 2016 is, right? So I want to focus on first, right? First thing we're going to talk about key differences in gameplay, generally speaking, and then we'll talk about movement, right? So first of all, what are the key differences between Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal? I recently had a comment on one of my videos on Threads, which is basically like Instagram's Twitter, if you don't know. And I posted a Doom 2016 clip, and someone said, oh, they weren't interested in Doom 2016. They didn't like Doom 2016 and they didn't like Doom Eternal, and they felt like basically both of them were the same, and that it was, it was a fall from grace for the Doom series, for the franchise, right? And here's the thing about that, like, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal are very, very different. There are, of course, similarities, right, in the title, the character that you play as, and a lot of the guns are quite similar, and a lot of the enemies are similar, which is great. I think that's a cool way to kind of keep continuity with the series, right? And the enemies that you have in Doom 2016 and the guns that you have, they pop back up in Doom Eternal. But there are differences in the way these things function and the way they operate, as you would expect. The first primary differences between the two games is that Doom 2016 is more, like they said in the recent Doom the Dark Ages trailer, it's more run and gun. It's more, I think, akin to the classic Doom franchise, where you're really just strafing and shooting and switching between weapons. Like, that's the thing. You're avoiding damage, you're avoiding shots. It's very much like the original Doom series. Doom Eternal is more vertical. It's more about jumping. It's more about dashing. It's more about, constantly switching the weapons more quickly. And just overall the movement is a lot a lot faster, right? You have a dash mechanic, you have your double jump, and then you have certain runes or modifications to your character that allow you, more options in the air, more slow down options. Like, it's just a lot more, space control. Whereas in Doom 2016, there are way fewer movement options, and you basically are just doing a lot of strafing, right? And knowing when's the right time to push in or pull away. That's basically the core difference I feel in the movement and mobility in Doom 2016. And like I said at the beginning of this video, more buttons to me does not mean more difficult. I think this game is more difficult on one basic principle. Doom 2016 is more difficult because you do more damage, your guns do more damage, but the enemies also do more damage. And I feel like there is way less room for mistakes, and way less there's a way tighter margin of error in Doom 2016. In Doom Eternal, you have so many different options, so many different powerful guns, so many different ways to get around, so much different customization options, that even if you make a minor mistake, you can usually correct it. I also think the enemies do less damage in Doom Eternal. I have to test this later on in another video, do a side-by-side comparison. But on Nightmare difficulty, I think the enemies on Doom Eternal do less damage, and they're less intimidating overall because the way that they attack is not as daunting, right? For example, Hell Knight in Doom Eternal. I'm pretty sure he just runs up to you and he swings his arms at you. I may be a little bit incorrect about that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. That the Hell Knight has different moves, but that's his basic bread and butter, right? Is to get in and to hit you. And I don't even think when he does that, it does a lot of damage. On Doom 2016, the Hell Knight, like their primary way of getting in is jumping in the air, slamming down on the ground, and it does a huge radius of damage, and that damage amount is like close to 50%, if not more, I think, depending on the range and how close you are when he does that slam down and how much armor you have. Hell Knight is way more of a pain to fight on Doom 2016, and so is the Imp, right? The Imp is a total pest on Doom 2016. They climb up on the walls, they throw these fire, there's like 10 of them on the screen at once. The fire does a ton of damage, right? And I feel like on Doom Eternal, the Imp and the Hell Knight are really not an option. They are not an obstacle, they are not a problem at all, right? One of the things that I feel like makes most of the enemies way less of a problem on Doom Eternal is that the primary shotgun that you start off with in the game has a modification that shoots out basically like a grenade launcher or whatever, a sticky grenade. On Doom Eternal, it sticks to the enemies, right? So when you shoot it, it sticks, detonates after a couple seconds. On Doom 2016, that is not the case. They do not stick to the enemies. They basically, it's just shooting an explosive out that explodes on impact. That means that you can actually take damage on Doom 2016 from your grenade explosive or from your grenade shot on Doom 2016. So you can shoot it out, and because you're too close, you're taking damage on that. On Doom Eternal, I'm 99% sure that is not the case. You do not take damage from that secondary explosive on your primary base shotgun, right? This is a huge difference in the gameplay because in Doom Eternal, you basically can like move around, fly around, jump around, and you're constantly shooting stickies and you're getting the explosive damage. You can't really do that on Doom 2016. Your movement is nerfed, and also your that ability can actually it can kill you if you don't know how to space that out and when to use it. Also, the charge up time on it is slower, right? I haven't fully maxed out the gun, but on Doom Eternal, you can shoot that secondary explosive a lot faster, right? And I'm just talking about this gun because this is the primary gun, and I feel like it's really, I think, the bread and butter for like getting around most of the map in the beginning of the game, especially on the Horde mode on Doom Eternal, where you start off with that gun, so that's the only gun you can use. And I think that makes a huge difference, right? Hell Knight does more damage. He jumps in, slams the ground, a higher radius, right, or a bigger field of damage, and you don't have the ability to just dash out of it. You don't have the movement options to just get away from it, right? And like I said, you getting hit by that, you're almost out of the match on Nightmare difficulty, right? So I think the enemies are more aggressive on Eternal. I think the Hell Knight can do incredible off-screen damage, right? There are several times where I'm shooting at one enemy and Hell Knight will jump over a pillar or over a barrier where I cannot see him, slam down behind me, and then destroy all my health, right? Another thing is like glory kills. On Doom Eternal, you have like certain mods where like as soon as you perform a glory kill, you get a speed boost. You can get out of the situation. And also on top of that, I think you have like a lot of invincibility when you perform a glory kill. So you don't really have to worry about taking damage out of a glory kill. Very rarely do I take damage out of a glory kill on Doom Eternal. On Doom 2016, you can take damage and actually get killed out of a glory kill on Doom Eternal. If a Hell Knight starts his jump and you perform a glory kill and that slam happens, like your health is gone. You're done, right? There's a lot of times where I hesitate to perform a glory kill on 2016 because there could be an enemy that's getting ready to, take me for 50, 60, 70, 80% of damage off top. And if you have one enemy sniping you, another enemy Hell Knight about to jump at you, and then you have an imp, several imps aiming fire and about to shoot at you, it only takes one mistake, all your health is gone. Like, it's very, like, usually in order to win on Doom 2016, I have to clear an entire room without getting hit or only getting hit one time. You cannot really get hit on Doom 2016. And I think on Doom Eternal, you're getting hit less because your movement, and when you do get hit, you don't take that much damage, right? I think the difficulty cranks up on Doom Eternal when you face the bosses. That's where I think primarily the difficulty is on Doom Eternal, right? Here's the other thing I want to talk about. I want to also talk about weapon mechanics, right? Weapons and mechanics. So one, on Doom Eternal, I'm almost certain that the slowdown effect on Doom Eternal is way way more lenient and way more favorable for the player. What do I mean by that? What I mean is when you're using the weapons on Doom Eternal and you want to change weapons and slow down, it almost comes to a stop. On Doom 2016, it does not almost come to a stop. You have to make your selection a lot faster because, like I said, there are several imps about to throw their fireballs at you from different angles. Okay? Weapons appear stronger in 2016, like I said, but I think that the enemies also are stronger. And I've mentioned that you have the mod-based shotgun that can damage you. There's another thing that I want to mention. Ice grenades and blood punch mechanics. On Eternal, you even have more up-close mechanics, right? You have the blood punch, which is basically like a one-hit kill, essentially. You build that meter up by performing glory kills. You get your blood punch. You hit an enemy, a large enemy, it obliterates them. Right? That's a really powerful mechanic that you do not have in Doom 2016 that gets you out of sticky situations when you get overwhelmed. You can't do that. If you get that close to an enemy on Doom 2016, I mean, you're cooked, right? Ice grenade on Doom Eternal. You can literally freeze the enemy totally and stop them in their tracks. So far, I've not been able to unlock anything like that on Doom 2016. You have an ice grenade, you have a fire grenade, regular frag grenade, and you have a torch that fires the enemies and automatically gives you armor. So far, there's no ability in Doom 2016 that grants you armor for doing damage. That would be great to have in 2016. I actually like how difficult it is in 2016 because it makes me appreciate the game more. I started playing Doom Eternal first, basically. I started with Doom 2016 and wasn't that interested in it. Played Doom Eternal, loved it, and now I'm coming back to Doom 2016 finally, giving it another shot. And I see that this game is really appealing because it's just more of like a really core good game, where I think Doom Eternal really has its appeal in that it just gives you a lot of options, right? And I think Doom 2016 is just a good game out of the box, and Doom Eternal is good once you get fascinated with its speed and options, right? So more damage, more offensive abilities in Doom Eternal, and the ability to literally freeze enemies in Doom Eternal. Several enemies at once, mind you, because the ice grenade has an explosion radius and you can freeze 2 or 3 enemies at one time, which gives you an opportunity to flame them, which gives you an opportunity to get armor. Right? So I think the Doom guy, Doom Slayer, is more oppressive in Doom Eternal, whereas in Doom 2016, you have to play more according to the rules and it's more strict. And so it's basically depending on, like, do you want more options? Or do you want to play, more rigidly and have the challenge of, facing more damaging enemies, right? The skill expression in Doom Eternal is definitely more there because in Doom Eternal you have more options and more abilities to express yourself, whereas in Doom 2016 it's more of a skill flex to just show that you know how to play FPS games really well. So, like I said, I do think that you take more damage in Eternal, or you take more damage in Doom 2016. But you can also do more damage in 2016. So it's just just less rooms for mistake. So that's my opinion on the differences between Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. What do you think? If you haven't played Doom 2016 in a while, I recommend going back and playing it. Definitely drop a comment and let me know if you thought Doom 2016 was the more difficult game than Doom Eternal. Just let me know what you think. Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. This is RK Futures. I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for more Doom content. You already know when that Doom The Dark Ages drops, we're going to be doing more Doom content. We're going to ramp up all content on the channel when that Doom The Dark Ages drops, because we're going to do a real deep comparison of the game and see how it's different. Will they make that game more easy than Doom Eternal? Will they make it more easy than Doom 2016? I'm almost positive it's going to be generally more easy than Doom 2016, but it might not. We'll have to wait and see. What are they favoring more in Doom The Dark Ages? Are they favoring more skill expression? Are they favoring more difficulty? Are they favoring like speed runs? Are they favoring, basic FPS skills? I really want to know what is the design philosophy on the game Doom The Dark Ages. We probably won't know until the game drops, but stay tuned on this channel because we're going to be the first to talk about it. I appreciate you supporting RK Futures. Out. See you in the next video.